everyone! So a little bit bored, so I want to make a video to talk about the quarantine life here. So currently I'm performing quarantines in Hong Kong, one of the hotels here, and this is my third day. So what I want to talk about today is I've been asked a lot about the how does the whole quarantine situation work? What do I need to wear? Is there any things that they track you? Or how does the wristband look like, whatever. So today I'm going to talk about it. The first day I arrived at the airport, the first thing I need to do is to submit two things. The first one is the declaration form. The second one is like a form to agree that you're going to perform quarantines. And you need to write down your name, the location, the address that you're going to stay. So I waited for like 2 hours because there were lots of people in the airport. Yes, one thing, after 2 hours, what did I get? Is this one, the wristband. Yes. So how does it look like? You can have a look. It's actually, I think it's like a paper, but then with some plastic on it or something. So it's kind of like waterproof. But after 3 days showering, you see, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, so it's a little bit destroyed, I would say. So I'm not sure if it could last for like 14 days that long. On this wristband, there is a QR code and also the number of this wristband, which is also my number to be tracked. Yeah, so the first thing we need to do is at the airport we need to download an app called Stay Home Safe. So with this app they could track you. So first you need to scan this QR code to add the wristband, the number of your wristband into the app, and then you need to wait for the government to send you an SMS like a PIN code. So after you receive that PIN code, you could insert it with your phone number together to the app to activate it. Yeah, so that's how the system works. So once you activate it, there's a red button on the right bottom of the app. Press it and then you will have like 1 minute to walk around because they want to collect your location, and you have to make sure that the app, like which is your phone, is really close to the wristband because otherwise they can't detect it. It sounds really easy, right? Yeah, but the problem for me is I didn't receive that PIN code until the second day of my quarantine, which is really bad because the app start counting that quarantine days after activating. So for me, I activated it on my second day of quarantine and they counted as my first day. So I was like kind of like scared, so I called them. I was like, hey, the situation is like this. Does it mean that I will have to stay in the hotel for 1 more day? And then they said, oh no, don't worry about it. We just counted the day that you arrived these cities because as I said, we need to submit the form, right? Yeah, so they have the record on it, so I could just leave the hotel once I finish my quarantine on the day that they told me. So I don't need to follow actually the apps, what the app said, because there is a 3 button on the apps as the screen that you see. So the middle one, the purple one, is the remaining quarantine day, and the one right next to it, the red one, is like saying that, oh, I finished quarantine. So once I finish quarantine, I could just press that button. So I assume that it will be finished, it will be done. But for the middle one, is that I still have like 13 days left, but it's not true. So which means that I will press that button 1 day earlier, so before I finish this quarantine life, and I don't know how does it work. There are also some problems that I've encountered, as I said, like I didn't receive that PIN code until the next day, which makes this quarantine control worse because it means that they don't have enough people to track you. So I could just go anywhere I want that day because I still haven't activated. I could go downstairs to buy things. You could just walk away and then come back again, you know? I heard that the system could only support like 2,000 people. And apparently in Hong Kong right now, there are more than 2,000 people performing quarantine like me. It means that not everybody is tracked by the government. So maybe I'm not lucky enough to be tracked. So this app and this wristband is just a way that to make us behave well. I think the whole system is not that, it's not 100% working, you know what I mean, compared to Taiwan. Because my friend told me in Taiwan, they really like call you a lot. They have to make sure that you stay home, like everything. If you don't pick up the phone for like 1 hour, 2 hours, and they will go to your house, go to your address, and then try to find you, something like that, to make sure that you are really performing quarantine. But compared to Taiwan, like Hong Kong is not doing enough. With this quarantine policy, lots of people like me, they just came back and then they have to be in quarantine. But most of them are like me also. They don't want to risk their family's life because no one knows who is infected or not yet. So like they want to stay in a hotel instead because in Hong Kong, many people, most of us live with the family. Most of the hotels in Hong Kong, they don't take quarantine clients. So it's very difficult for us to find a place to stay. So let's say, take me as an example. It was really bad. When I was still in Japan, I booked this hotel room in advance through Agoda because I knew that many of people will come back at the same time as I do. So like I booked this hotel room somewhere in Causeway Bay. And as soon as I arrived at the hotel, I told them, oh, I'm gonna check in, here's my information. So they were like, oh, I'm so sorry because our hotel doesn't take any quarantine customers because they want to protect the other customers, which I understand and I also respect. But then at that moment I was like, hey, but I already paid everything, and then you already know this booking is like for quarantine because no one would just book a hotel room for like 14 days for no reason, right? And why didn't you tell me in advance so that I could still have time to look for another place instead of like at this moment I'm like literally homeless. I was like so helpless, but they insist not letting me to stay. So I was like, I have to go. And then I spent like another 1 hour, 1.5 hours to try to look for a place because most of the hotels in Hong Kong, they don't do this business. Yeah, some of them they take quarantine customers, but either they're fully booked it or they charge a lot, like could up to 10,000 Hong Kong dollar, even more, for 14 days. Eventually, and then luckily, I could still find a place to stay, which is still kind of expensive, but at that moment, you know, you have no choice, and then the price is sort of like acceptable, so I take it. I think they should have just rent a few hotels to like use it as a quarantine centers, because the centers that they have, I'm not sure how many places do they have. I tried to call the hotline that they gave me. They said if you have any problems performing your quarantine, just call them. So I was like, oh, maybe I could call them and then they can offer me a place to stay. That's what I thought. So I called like I don't know how many times. I waited for like 20 minutes. No one picked it up because the hotline was really busy. So I feel like the quarantine situation in Hong Kong right now is actually not too bad because people do behave well. Of course, you've read some news about people escaped during their quarantine, still go out, like blah blah blah, but I believe that that's not like majority. So people like me still behave well, still stay home, still stay in the room. So I still have 11 days to go. So life is not so bad right now. It's actually nice, you know. Sometimes you could be alone, think about life, think about futures, everything. But I hope I won't get too crazy. And thanks for watching this videos. Let me know if you have any question. Just text me and I will answer you. We can discuss and whatever. So see you guys. Happy quarantine life. Bye bye.